Linda Meltzer asks, why do so many of the characters' children seem to go missing over the years? Sarah is rarely mentioned, Marcy's new husband and baby made an appearance and were then forgotten, and most recently Cheryl took off for El Paso, apparently without a thought for their new baby.
One of the reasons is because the repertory company is now so large that I can't get them all in books. Davenport's daughter, how can I explain this? It is mentioned in a couple of books that she has now been integrated into a part of a happy family with other children. The woman that Davenport had the baby with, who was a TV personality, married, had more children, and Davenport's daughter has been integrated into that family. He still sees her. She knows that he's his father, but they don't try to compete with each other in a way. I mean, she's happy having a different father and her real mother, and she likes the stepfather. She likes the guy, you know. So that's a happy family, so I just let it go.
Yeah. Well, Lucas likes the guy as well. They've met a couple of times.
Lucas likes the guy as well.
They're on good terms. Yep. Everything's fine.
And so
Sarah has college taken care of forever, probably.
Yeah. But the real thing is that I've got too many people. You know, that's why, for example, Harrison Sloane no longer appears in the books. He was a good character, but he retired. He bought a bar. He now runs it. He's a happy guy. I said goodbye to him in one of the books, and even though he was a good character, I needed to get him off stage because people would call me up and say, "What happened to Sloane?" The same thing with Kid in a way. I mean, you know, when I was on this very short tour a week or so ago, I still had people ask me if there were going to be more Kid books. Well, there aren't, because I just don't have time to write them, to tell you the truth. I mean, that's the honest answer, is that I just don't have time to do all the housekeeping necessary to keep everybody up on every character.
Carol Hernandez asks, would you consider writing a book with another author? I always thought it would be great if Lucas came up to Aurora to help Cork O'Connor.
You know, I've written books in cooperation with other people, including Roz here. But the thing is that authors tend to work alone, with the exception of James Patterson, of course. But authors tend to work alone, and I guess I'm happiest doing it that way. I now work with my wife quite a bit, but the thing is that somebody has got to be the lead in these things, and I want to be the lead. And I don't want to argue with people about the way that I think the story could go, because from my point of view, and only from my point of view, I always think that I know the best way to do it. And the reason for that, I mean, there are some logical reasons for that, and that is that I have read thousands of thrillers. I mean, literally thousands of thrillers by now. At one point, I was probably reading 4 or 5 thrillers a week, not a month, but a week. I would get 6 books from the library, and I would take them home and I'd read 1 book a night. And I have so internalized all those books that I feel like that I'm doing it the right way. And I know that all kinds of other people do it different ways. And that's fine, and I read their books, and a lot of them I'm a fan of those people. But at the same time, I have to do it my way, and that makes it really tough to write with another guy.
How did you do Rhymes with Prey for the upcoming anthology?
We went back and forth, and it's Rhymes with Prey. We went back and forth, and we just sent we sent the manuscript back and forth to each other, you know, kind of filling in bits and pieces, and so that's the way we did it. And it was kind of awkward, because once again, he's a good writer, and he has his way of doing things.
Yeah. Is it really different from yours, do you think, from what you've seen?
I think it is. I think he's much more logical than I am. Okay. I spend a lot more time kind of thrashing around, you know, figuring out how to do stuff.
Mindy Wells Hofbauer, what does a typical writing day look like for you?
I usually start late in the day, you know, almost always in the evening, and I'll write for any place from between like an hour and 3 or 4 hours. And when I'm really running hot, I can run even longer than that. I can write for 5 or 6 hours. The most I've ever written in a day would be about 5,000 words. And when I do that much, when I write a lot like that, when I write for 4 or 5 hours, usually the words don't need too much editing. It's when I'm struggling that I really need a lot of editing. But when I'm writing fast and I really know what I'm writing about, then it goes pretty quickly. But I write every day, virtually every day. I mean, there are days now and again when I can't write for one reason or another. But even when I'm traveling, I take a laptop with me. Even when I'm traveling, for pleasure on vacation, if I go to France, I take a laptop with me and I write, because that's what I do, and I write virtually every day. I try to write between 1,000 and 1,500 words, and I usually start late in the evening because it's quiet, and then I go till midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning, and then I go to bed and get up late.
Question from Lola B. Doodle. If you could live life as either Lucas or Flowers, who would you choose and why?
Well, I'd choose Flowers because it'd be a much more relaxed life. And Lucas just isn't as much like me as Flowers is. Lucas really kind of likes violence, and
Flowers likes fishing.
And Flowers likes fishing, and I mean that right there sort of encapsulates the differences between them. Lucas likes violence, Flowers likes fishing, and but you have to understand also that neither of these characters are real. They're invented, and there are very few cops that are very much like either Flowers or Lucas. Even though some of them would like to think they are, they aren't. And so kind of asking that question, which one I'd prefer, is sort of like, would you rather be Santa Claus or the Easter Bunny? Because to me, they're inventions, and so it's almost like it's impossible to answer.
You've talked to a lot of fans about the future of the Prey series or the post-Prey series or future of Lucas Davenport. Lola Aldrich is wondering if Lucas becomes a U.S. Marshal, and you've talked about that possibility in some of the tours, will Delb get to work with Virgil as Jenkins and Shrake do?
I don't know. I just don't know what's going to happen with that. Del was very badly injured in the book that's out there now. He was shot by some elderly gun runners and hurt bad. So I don't exactly know right now what Del's future is with the BCA, and I don't know exactly what Davenport's future is with the BCA either. I just don't know that yet. But it's something that I'm going to have to decide in the next few months. At this moment, I really don't know what it is.
Well, is Virgil a political appointment like Lucas is?
Virgil is not a political appointment. Virgil is a civil service employee. Davenport is sort of a civil service employee in the sense that all BCA guys are, but Davenport is also susceptible to being pushed out of the agency for a large number of reasons. Just the way he operates would violate, every principle in the BCA principle book. And
probably the way Virgil operates would violate a few principles just because he's too laid back about it.
Yeah, Virgil would too, but he violates them in ways that are not offensive and also not particularly visible because he's not working with the other BCA people. He's out there by himself out in the rural areas.